When you begin to change, even quietly, the world around you seems to shift in subtle yet undeniable ways. People who once understood you suddenly appear distant. Conversations that once flowed effortlessly now feel strained. It isn't that you have done something wrong. It's simply that your vibration no longer matches the one they are used to. Growth is not always loud or visible. Sometimes it is an invisible expansion within the soul that others can sense before you even speak. The moment you start to see life differently, you unconsciously stop fitting into the patterns that once made you familiar to others. Human connections are often built on repetition, on the comfort of knowing how someone will react, what they will tolerate, and what they will remain silent about. When you outgrow those unspoken agreements, the people around you are forced to confront a new version of you that doesn't play by the same emotional rules. They feel the distance before you realize it yourself. What they perceive as arrogance or coldness is often nothing more than your spirit no longer bending to fit their expectations. It's a strange and delicate moment to realize that becoming more of yourself may cost you those who loved a lesser version. Yet, this is what transformation demands, that you honor your inner evolution, even if it means walking through misunderstanding. People may say you've changed as though. It's an accusation, but in truth, it is confirmation. You are meant to change. You are meant to unfold. The only constant in life is movement. And when you start moving toward your truth, some relationships will naturally lose their grip. This isn't betrayal, it's transition. You are not abandoning anyone. You are merely aligning with what feels authentic. Those who can evolve with you will remain, not because they need you to be who you were, but because they appreciate who you are becoming. And those who cannot will quietly fade, leaving behind space for something purer, freer, and more aligned with the rhythm of your becoming. When people begin to turn against you without clear reason, it is rarely about something you've done. It is more often about what your presence awakens within them. Human beings are mirrors to one another, constantly reflecting back the parts we like and the parts we wish to ignore. When you grow, when you begin to embody peace, confidence, or self-awareness, others may see in you the reflection of everything they have resisted within themselves. Your calmness exposes their chaos. Your authenticity reveals their pretenses. and your courage to change highlights their fear of doing the same. It's not hatred born of understanding, it's discomfort born of recognition. Most people live within carefully constructed identities built from habits, beliefs, and external approval. When someone close to them breaks free from that illusion, it threatens the stability of their own self-image. They may not know why they feel uneasy around you, but something in your energy disrupts the pattern they depend on. You are no longer predictable, no longer part of the silent agreement to stay the same. And when the familiar rhythm of emotional exchange is broken, people often respond not with reflection, but with resistance. In that resistance, they may project their own insecurities onto you. Labeling you as distant, arrogant, or selfish. But behind those words lies a deeper truth. They are confronting a version of themselves they have long denied. Your evolution acts as a reminder that transformation is possible, and that reminder can be painful to those who are not ready for it. It's far easier to criticize change in another than to confront stagnation within oneself. So when people suddenly start hating you, see through the illusion. Recognize that their reaction is not a judgment of your worth, but an echo of their own internal conflict. They are not truly against you. They are wrestling with their reflection in the mirror you've unknowingly become. And though it may hurt, remember, to awaken something in others is both a burden and a gift. There comes a time when you can no longer pretend to be someone you're not, when the act of pleasing others feels heavier than the price of being misunderstood. This is the quiet birth of authenticity. The moment you begin to honor what feels true instead of what feels accepted. Yet authenticity, though freeing, often invites resistance from the world around you. People become accustomed to the version of you that bends, that agrees, that smiles even when it hurts. When you stop doing that, when you start living from sincerity rather than compliance, they begin to lose their sense of control. Many people don't realize how much of their comfort depends on your willingness to conform. They've learned what to expect from you, how you'll react, what you'll allow, what you'll sacrifice. When you stop performing those emotional duties, they feel threatened, not because you've done harm, but because you've changed the unspoken contract. Your truth becomes unsettling. Your boundaries, once invisible, now stand firm. What they call arrogance is often self-respect. what they call distance is simply peace. Being authentic means you stop explaining yourself to be understood and start expressing yourself to be free. And in that freedom, you no longer need to play small to fit into anyone's comfort zone. But freedom has a price: misunderstanding. People may twist your silence into indifference, your confidence into pride, your independence into selfishness. They interpret through the lens of their own fear, unable to see that your transformation is not an act of rejection, but of honesty. To live authentically is to risk disapproval, to walk through the discomfort of being seen for who you really are. Yet this is the only way to build genuine connection. Pretending brings acceptance, but it also brings emptiness. Truth brings solitude at first, but it also brings peace. The world may resist your authenticity for a while, but in time, your very being will attract those who love you not for the mask you wore, but for the soul you finally allowed to breathe. There are moments in life when people begin to drift away without clear reason. And though it feels painful, it is often life's way of making space for something truer. Rejection can feel like an attack, but in its deeper form, it is redirection, a quiet reshaping of your path to match your evolution. When you grow beyond your old patterns, you naturally begin to vibrate on a different frequency. Not everyone who once resonated with your energy can follow where you're going. And so the universe gently, sometimes abruptly, removes those attachments. It feels cruel, but it's cleansing. Those who once felt comfortable around you may begin to sense an unfamiliar energy they cannot name. You no longer feed their narratives. You no longer play the same emotional roles. To them, it looks like distance. To you, it feels like peace. Life has a way of dissolving connections that were built on need rather than truth. The people who were attached only to your mask, the version of you that kept them comfortable, will fall away when that mask slips. This is not your failure. It is the natural rhythm of transformation. Rejection is not a punishment. It is a sacred invitation to walk alone for a while so you can see who you are without the noise of others' expectations. The pain of being misunderstood often hides the gift of self-clarity. Every door that closes carries a lesson about alignment, that not all love is meant to last, and not every bond is meant to evolve with you. Some relationships complete their purpose and dissolve so that your spirit can move freely into its next chapter. if you can resist the urge to chase what has left, you'll notice that every ending carries within it the quiet beginning of something better aligned. Those who are meant for your new vibration will recognize your truth without needing you to shrink. And in that recognition, you'll find peace, the kind that comes not from holding on, but from trusting that what leaves does so only to make room for what's real. There comes a point on the path of self-discovery when you realize that no amount of approval can replace the serenity that comes from inner alignment. The desire to be light begins to lose its grip when you start to see how fragile and conditional external validation truly is. You notice that people's opinions shift as easily as the wind, shaped by their moods, fears, and limited perspectives. If your sense of peace depends on their approval, you will forever be at the mercy of their inconsistency. But when your worth arises from within, when it flows from an understanding of who you truly are, you become unshakable. Inner freedom is the quiet confidence that no one can give or take away. It is born from realizing that only opinion that truly matters is your own awareness of truth. When you begin to act from this awareness, you no longer perform for acceptance or compromise your values to maintain connection. You begin to speak honestly, move authentically, and live gently, but firmly in alignment with your principles. And though this may cause some to withdraw, it will also attract those who see and honor your truth. Approval is intoxicating because it feels like love, but it is not. It is often a reward for conformity, given only as long as you play the expected role. Freedom, on the other hand, requires courage. The courage to be disliked, misunderstood, or even judged for simply being real. Yet, once you taste that freedom, you will never trade it for comfort again. You will realize that the peace of living honestly far outweighs the temporary pleasure of being admired. To live freely is to live lightly, to let go of the burden of constant performance. The world will always have opinions, but your task is to remain centered, unmoved by the noise, rooted in your truth. For when you no longer chase approval, you discover the profound beauty of simply being whole, complete, and at peace within yourself.